Hey everyone! I wanted to do a little video for you guys, just kind of going over some tips that I've come across for those of you who are choosing to do like fruit and herb infused waters. I found a lot of information that I didn't know and I thought would be helpful for you guys too. I got this information from allrecipes.com and they have a lot of information there about a lot of things. But I'm just going to go over the information that they shared with in regard to the flavored water. So the first thing obviously is you're going to want to wash your produce and your herbs, rinse it off, try to get the pesticides that might be on it if you weren't able to get organic and all that jazz. It seems like normal, but sometimes I kind of like, oh, I'm putting this in water, but wait, I should wash it first. So don't forget to do that because it's going to be sitting in your water all day and you don't want that really, like drinking your water. Another thing that one of the other tips it gave was to use cold or room temperature water. The warm water kind of deteriorates the fruit a little faster, so you're going to wind up with like some chunks of stuff and it's just not going to be as crisp and fresh for as long. So room temperature or cool water. You don't necessarily need a fancy bottle, which I kind of talked about in my other video. You can just use a glass or a mason jar or whatever. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Let's see, a few tips in regard to what types of things you're putting in your water. If it's softer, like citrus, like lemon, lime, oranges, and stuff like that, or even strawberries, you can cut them kind of however you want. They can be thin, they can be thick, halved, quartered, whatever. Slices for like those citrus fruits or in wedges or whatever. But if it's harder, like apples, you're gonna want to make sure those are really thinly sliced because they do take longer for the flavor to come out. So other thing, when you are getting into your herbs, if it's a fibrous herb like ginger root, what else did I have written down here? Oh, rosemary, lemongrass. Those you're going to want to crush with like a wooden spoon before you put them in there. If it's more of a leafy one like mint, basil, even cilantro, you're going to want to tear them and that will help release the oils so that it really flavors your water, really well and quickly. So, if you do get fancy and you want to put like flowers or petals like lavender or rose petals or even dried hibiscus, you can do that. The best way to put those to infuse your water with those is to use either like a tea infuser or cheesecloth, kind of gather them up and let them soak in the water that way. So when you are putting all this in your water, the amount of time that they recommend for you to let it sit is for 2 hours at room temperature at the most. So after that, you're going to want to refrigerate it. So you can refrigerate it for longer. Sometimes the flavors kind of, if it can sit at room temperature for a while, the flavors will kind of start seeping out a little faster. And then refrigerate it or whatever. Or you can, let's see, there's some things in here. I'll get to that. So things like the cucumbers, melons, again, like the lemons and limes and oranges and stuff like that, and even mint are going to flavor your water almost immediately. Other things like apples, cinnamon, ginger root, and rosemary, so a lot of those herbs, you're going to want to leave those overnight in the fridge to get the most flavor out of your water. Now, melons and sliced strawberries, because melons you're cutting into, so melons and sliced strawberries tend to get waterlogged after a few hours at most, I guess. So just be mindful of that when you're preparing it. If you expect that to last all day, they're gonna look kind of funny. But the citrus and whole berries, like either strawberries whole, or even like blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and stuff like that, those can last like 24 hours or look like good all day or whatever. So, let's see what else was there that I write down. Okay, if you are making like an entire jug, say for the day or even for like an event or whatever, a party, when you use citrus, the flavor tends to get a little bitter after about 4 hours. So if you're going to make a big jug, then you're going to want to peel the citrus before you put it in there. And then if that looks weird to you, and like I said, you're doing it for an event or for something in particular, then right before you go to serve, you can put regular sliced or whatever citrus in there that has the peel on it if you want to go that route. Just know that your flavor is going to change the longer that citrus sits in your water. So the citrus peel I mean. And then if you have made these, I've seen some ideas where you can make a whole bunch of like mason jars in the morning or the night before or whatever, and you put them on your fridge. If you haven't drank that water within 24 hours, you're going to want to strain those fruits and herbs out of it. And then you can keep the water in your fridge for up to 3 days after that, but you don't want to really get like the bacterial growth going on in there. So that's kind of the reason that they like that, that they mentioned that, I guess you might say. And then, another thing to help keep your flavor kind of going is to refill your glass when it's about half empty or half full. Depends on how you look at it. That way your water, the flavor will lessen as you add the water to it, but if you let it get all the way down, then you're going to have a while before it builds back up, I guess. Like if you drink all of your water and you only have fruit, when you add water to it, it's going to take longer for that flavor to get back in. So you're going to want to mix it in about halfway through if you can remember to do that. So those are pretty much all my tips that I've come across. And if you have anything else or anything, if you've done this before and you've found like really negative things or things that worked really well for you, please post them below so that we can all benefit from your knowledge. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And other than that, let me see what kind of waters you guys are drinking. All right, bye.